Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Welcome to United Unitarian Universalist Congregation. My name is Jennifer Byriger. I'm your worship facilitator this morning. Jayme Dawicki is providing our music. We love you, Jayme. And Aaron is back there running all the tech stuff and keeping us going. There are writers from our congregation who are speakers this morning. If this is your first time visiting or you're fairly new to the church, we're really glad to see you here. Please join us for coffee and conversation downstairs after the service. We would really love to get to know you. Additionally, if you haven't already done so, please fill out a visitor card. There are those orange cards over there, and place it in the offering plate later in the service. This will enable us to communicate with you after the service. Any children are welcome to RE. Let's begin our service. I had different opening words, but I went in the office and found something from Iris that was written on December 5th. So those will be our opening words. So this is by Iris. Iris Ninnis. The sound of hope. The sound of hope, quiet and sure, undergirded by deep knowing, with a bright vision of tomorrow. Open, flexible, creative, yet grounded. The putting one foot in front of the other. The sound of hope. It soothes digestion, allows us to sleep at night. It's what gets us out of bed in the morning and brings people together in joy and purpose. We search to find hope. We allow hope in. We hold on to hope and sometimes cling to hope. When it does come, it bubbles up, seeps in, it sometimes wafts, or there is a glimmer of hope that emerges. Where does it come from? Outside ourselves or within? Maybe either or both. A hopeful word from another can lift or change our perspective, creating hope. And like yeast, it can rise and spread. It's also contagious. However, hope can be extinguished by the negativity or cruelty of others. Therefore, it may be wise to actively cultivate hope in our own hearts. A well of hope, unwavering, enduring, hope that inoculates us against skepticism and despair, can assure that we can always access hope if it is unavailable in the world around us. So how can we do that? There are many ways. Spend time in nature, seek or create beauty. Connect with other hopeful people to invest in the things that create a more positive future for self and others. And as is told by many great faiths in the world, perhaps the most likely way to cultivate a well of hope is in our hearts. It's to go inward to the silence and listen. Listen for the voice of the divine. Listen for the sound of the ages. Listen for the Christ light within, the voice of the universe, the Buddha, nature, luminous mind, or Atman, etc. Listen for hope, it is there. Connection to this voice usually generates hope. In this season, we celebrate in gratitude the gift of this wise inner voice that over and over again offers us the ability to cultivate a well of hope in our hearts, renewing the human spirit for ourselves and to share with the world. Glory be, and so it is. From Iris. We begin each service with the lighting of our chalice. The flame represents the light of truth, reason, learning, courage, spiritual inspiration, and the fire of commitment to justice inspired by historical sacrifices. The chalice symbolizes care, sustenance, nourishment, and the holding of the flame, representing the supportive religious community. Combined symbol, first brought together by Hans Deutsch during World War II. It signifies sacrifice and love, becoming a beacon for our modern dynamic faith. Please join me in the reading of the words on the wall as the chalice is lit. May this flame
warmth of compassion,
we scatter spirit, service, and community. Today is the 8th night of Hanukkah, celebrating the ultimate triumph of light over darkness, marking the completion of the holiday's miracle. Today marks the 4th Sunday of Advent. Isabel is sick today, so Molly will be our star. She'll read words acknowledging each of the Advent Sundays as I light the candles. The tall center candle shall be lit with the others on Christmas Eve.
This morning, we light all 4 candles in our Advent wreath. We light a candle as a symbol of hope, as we prepare our hearts to transform. We light the 2nd candle as a symbol of our longing for peace. We light the 3rd candle as a symbol of joy. Advent asks us to proclaim our gladness as a gift to the world, even when sorrow uncertainly abound. And this morning, the 4th candle is a reminder that there is no greater power in the world than love. Through this community, we may become a blessing to one another, and in truth, belief, and someday this world can become a beloved community that holds us all in care. We light this candle of love.
Please join in the responsive reading. The congregation reads the bold black printed words, and Molly will read the other.
This is the season of anticipation, of expecting, of hope, of waiting. This is the time of expecting the arrival of something or someone. This is the time of living in darkness, in the hues of unknowing, of being quiet, of reflecting on a year almost past, waiting for a new beginning, for a closing or an end. This is the time for digesting the lessons of today, of days gone past, anticipating the future for which the waiting for a world which can know no justice, waiting for a lasting peace, waiting for the bridge to span the divide which separates us, waiting for a promise or a hope. For all of this, we are waiting. Trust the light. Triumphant, past the light.
And now for our time for all ages, we're all going to sing This Little Light of Mine, led by Chet. We'll sing verses 1, 2, 3, and as we repeat again verse 1, that's a time for the kids to go on out to RE. We'll sing them out with that. Kids can sit with the parents or come up. It's totally their choice.
Hey, you guys ready? This is one of those songs that everyone knows. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Molly's going to read excerpts from this act of faith.
What's going to happen? Wait. Do I read this one? Okay. For this hour we gather to surrender to the mystery, to release ourselves for the needing to know, this yearning to have it will already figured out. And also the burden of believing we either have all the control or none. Here in our song and our silence, our stories and our sharing, we make space for a new breath, a new healing, a new possibility to take root. That is courage. Forged in the fire of our coming together and left in the spirit that comes alive in the act of faith, that we believe still a new world is possible, that we are creating it already here and now.
And now we'll have a responsive reading. Number 653, if you want to follow along in the hymnal. It's on the wall. Otherwise, in the congregation, please read the black bold. How short the daylight hours have now become, how gray the skies, how barren seem the trees. But there is that in me. But there is that in me which reaches up toward light and laughter, bells and carolers. Because it speaks the truth of older myths. And babes are hope and saviors of the world, as miracles abound in common things.
Rejoice and join in the gladness of Christmas and solstice.
And now the message are words by members of our congregation. I'm merely the reader of the words. This is from Lamberg. Thoughts on hope. This time of year always gives me the creeps. Len Lamberg. The walls, the floor, the ceiling. That's where I see those little black crawling things sneaking into the house. If you're a bad speller, you know that the big orange V on their back stands for box elder bugs. Lately, though, I've been thinking about it from their point of view. They don't bite. They don't get you sick. They give the cat something to look at. They're just trying to get out of the cold. They are just hoping to make it through the winter. It's tough out there for a bug. Heck, it's tough for people too. The news is scary. I'm losing my hair. And I'm saying stress causes your clothes to shrink, just so you know. But I have hope. Hope that things are going to work out okay, that all the good teams will be winners, and that I can make it through the winter okay. So, box elder bug, I kind of feel you. This is where I want to tell you that I'm going to let them stay in the house this year. Nope, I usually stomp them. But I know that for each one I see, there are about a dozen hiding in cracks and crevices, hoping to make it till spring. My house is filled with hope. Me plus a cat, a spouse, and all the other creatures, all hoping and believing that something better is coming just around the corner.
Two frogs hop, as they do, along through their day. Hop, as they do, into a bucket. This bucket happened to be half filled with cream, which made the sides very slippery. Too slippery for the frogs to climb out. Too deep to jump out. One frog began to moan and wail. "We'll never get out. We're doomed." But the other frog quietly thought about their predicament. And while he thought, he moved his legs, treading water in the cream. "We'll never get out. We're doomed," moaned one, and the other paddled. And to drown out his companion, he started chanting, "Keep hope alive, keep hope alive, keep hope alive." And he urged his despairing friend to do the same. "Keep hope alive, keep hope alive." Around and around and around they swam, croaking, "Keep hope alive, keep hope alive, keep hope alive." And after some time, the most astonishing thing happened. What do you think it was? Well, butter formed from the cream. And as the frogs swam and swam and swam, and in their excitement, they churned up the cream into butter enough to climb out to the top of the pail and on their merry way, still chanting to themselves, "Keep hope alive, keep hope alive."
That was a story by Reverend Chris Buse. This more intense reflection is from Mary Beth Danielson, who relates the story of a friend. My friend Otis and I have been pals since we met in seminary in 1978. Otis is the one who saw me walking out of the school library one afternoon looking a bit more polished than usual and asked where I was going. I said I had a date. He said, "Ooh." That date was with Len. Otis played his trumpet at our wedding. He and his partner, George, gave us our very first car seat for our very first baby. Otis and George are godfathers to all of our children. One of the simplest and best stories I know about hope is actually Otis's. I've written before about when he tried to end his own life. I called him again and asked if I could use his story here in this congregation, and he said, "Sure." He's looking forward to meeting you all someday. About 25 years ago, seemingly out of the blue, Otis took an overdose of medication. Otis is very open about this. Part of this is inherited brain chemistry. Depression runs in my family as strongly as musical ability and bad teeth. And although I didn't know it yet, depression is often the first symptom of the Parkinson's disease I had but didn't know. He was taken to hospital and the next day was transferred to a psychiatric hospital. At Pine Knoll, not its true name, they received him into a wheelchair, rolled him into their admitting area, wearing only a hospital gown, socks, and a blanket. That is where he sat for the next 4 hours, answering the same questions over and over again to 8 different admittance persons. No one brought him so much as a cup of tea or a cookie. George had brought a suitcase of Otis's clothes, yet no one gave him a moment or a place to change into jeans and a shirt. Otis says it this way: "We were warehoused while psychiatrists prescribed and monitored drugs to chemically pull us out of our unhealthy moods. Otis found some healing in that hospital anyway. I have seldom felt the kind of acceptance I found from other patients. I'm a middle-aged gay man, and suddenly I'm in a locked ward with straight men from all walks of life. The first time I saw this huge, tattooed biker coming down the hall towards me, I was scared. I didn't know what could or would happen. But this is the thing. By the end of that day, we were playing cards, telling stories, comparing our medication. Everyone in a mental hospital is an expert on drugs. I heard other people's stories, which helped me see my own more clearly. I made some friends. I think it's like what war vets talk about. They don't know how to cope with what they experience, so they get together, and their stories leak out, and some of the burden begins to lift away. The end of this hard story is simple. Hope continues to be where it's always been, in the stories and interweaving of people who care for each other. Otis says what holds him together are his relationships, especially with his friends. When times are hard or dark, and we answer our phone or open the door, and a friend is there, our hearts lighten a little, and that is hope.
I just want to say one thing, and that is to be lumped into the collection of writers in this, and to be asked to write about something. It's just really an honor to be hanging out with people like Len and Mary Beth and Donna, all the writers. Credibility. The first time I was asked to do this thing about hope, I did also think to myself. The first thought I had was, I wish I was, and I hope to be, a hoarder of hope and a font of forgiveness. I thought, all this arrived from there. Feelings, emotions, are independent. One doesn't hope for a feeling, one just has a feeling. One hopes for a result which will produce a feeling. Hope presents a road before us, and hope is the glance ahead that breathes trust. As in the games of chess, one can strategize, one can hope many moves ahead and prepare for the results, good or bad. Hope herds emotions. Hope will move emotions into perspective. A collector or hoarder of hopes and wishes sometimes creates a larger gap between himself and their truer, higher self. Good and positive hope can keep us joyful in anticipation. Hope can stabilize our fears, especially our fears of unpredictable outcomes. Hope can be a hug or embrace we need, and sometimes hope can heal. Hopeful and hopefulness, wishful and wishfulness, prayerful and prayerfulness. These are not feelings or emotions. They are states of being in flux or in transition. Hope says the results aren't in yet, but when they arrive, there will be a new sense of being, a completed hope. And that completed hope creates a stepping stone for new hope.
And these words are from Diane Garrison. I know as a psychologist that our nervous systems are negatively biased, and I see daily all the unhappiness that this creates. I know, too, we can choose to be positive thinkers, and this is what I teach and practice. My spiritual knowing tells me that love is the power of the universe, and the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. The Mayan calendar also says that our next human era will be the theme of love and ethics. Together, these concepts give me hope, and I choose to renew this hope daily as we are all bombarded with ugly news. And now we will all join together with Chet's major help as we, well, that's interesting. Aaron? It seems to not want to do anything. There we go. As we all join in singing, and I lost number 318, and you're very welcome to rise.
You guys know this song, right? From Finlandia. This song, yeah. I love this tune. So, we would be one and join in singing our hymn of love to pledge ourselves anew to that high cause of greater
we would be one in building for tomorrow a nobler world than we have known today. We would be one in searching for that meaning which bends our hearts and points us on our way. As one we pledge ourselves to greater service, with love and justice strive to make us free.
Moment in our service where we take time to share with each other our joys, sorrows, concerns. We do this by picking up a stone, stating our name and what we wish to share, and then placing the stone in the bowl of water as the ripples flow out to the community for support and love. I'd like to start this. This past week in December, 17th, 19th, that matters not. Do we know? Anyway, United Unitarian Universalist Congregation became a charter church in the year 1877. So we celebrate, I believe, if I think I did the math and if I remember what I did, it's 148 years. So, yay, United.
And maybe, I'm Ellen, maybe as a follow-up to that, it's been a kind of a challenging last few weeks, so this is for United's future, I guess. Another 148 years?
Hi, I'm Donna, and the frog is still with me. Every morning, all morning. Anyway, if you remember Kay Wickenberg, I just want to mention that Kay has had horses many, many, many years of her life. And late in November, Cowboy died. She got out to the barn in the morning and he was laying down. And she felt that he died in his sleep because there wasn't any sign of restlessness. But, you know, this is her last horse, and her life is challenging anyway, and so this makes it especially hard for her. So if you can reach out to her, that would be nice. She's willing to chat her on the phone if you can get her. So, but Cowboy is gone, and that's a another new challenge for her.
Hello, my name is Aaron, and my joy today is for many of you a sorrow, and that is that the Bears won a meaningful game against the Packers.
My joy is that the Bears won a meaningful game.
I'm going to grab two. I'm Jim, because I have both a bit of hope and a bit of sorrow. A couple weeks ago, I said I was hoping that my trial on December 8th would have the right verdict, but the trial was delayed again, so I have hope that I'll get the correct verdict on January 14th now.
That's my birthday. That's my birthday.
Oh, boy. The second thing is a sorrow. My sister passed away on yesterday, and she was my sister. But 5 years older than me, but her last 5 years she suffered from dementia, so I know everybody in the room, right, has someone they know or love and have suffering dementia or have lost, so it's a sadness we all share. Yeah, my sister was Jean Brownlow Sherman. She had 3 children and 3 grandchildren, and lived in Madison, and they're all close in proximity, so that was a good thing. But we'll miss my sister Jean.
I'm Patty, and I'm going to also choose 2. The first one is for the joy of that. Later today, our church will be used for it is a part of our programming to offer adult and religious outreach. So we're doing the Dances of Universal Peace here. I want to not echo a couple of the things that were said, but to echo what Ellen said. It's double or nothing. You can do a lot of what we're doing right here. You don't even have to dance. We're going to sing This Little Light of Mine again, a lot like you sang it already. You never know what that might help you do to find the light inside you. The second is for my family. My Aunt Dolores passed just prior to Thanksgiving, and the wake and the funeral is today, and I'm torn, but I'm here. And we're losing that generation, and we're losing them just a little fast. And we're not losing them. They're becoming part of that beam of light.
This is the first time I've done this since I started coming here a few months ago. This is a stone of remembrance for my husband, Tom Moore, Irishman to the end. He passed away the 10th of this month, 1 year ago. And he was valiant through his illness. He had vascular dementia the last few years of his life. And we will always miss him, and he's always in our hearts, family and friends. So.
I'm Paul, and I have a joy. Last Monday, Joe Christensen and myself installed a new toilet in the bathroom across from the administrator's office. Now, this is no ordinary toilet. It has a raised seat. It has a slow closing lid. And the frosting on the cake, it's dual flush. So we're going to save money on water. Now, I know what you're thinking. You want to jump up right now and go back and see the new toilet. I share your enthusiasm. But I ask you to wait till after the service to see this astonishing new addition to our church.
I'm Susan Bergman. That is hard to top. I just wanted to add a little something as historian. We have this anniversary coming up, 150 years. It's a big one. And I've already talked to Reverend Jim about it. In the past, when we've had these large anniversaries, we've always had a big celebration. So I want to just kind of let you think about it, because I'm sure that the board will want to put a committee together to plan this. And so if you have ideas, kind of keep those in your head and then pass them on to the committee. So this is a stone of hope for the big celebration that we have coming up.
Hi, I'm Chet, and a sadness in a way, a healing thing, right? A hope. A friend of mine who I graduated high school with in 1977, which is 100 years after, exactly 100 years after our church was formed. And yeah, and you can find out how old I am if you guys a little algebra in there, you know. But no, Denny and I decided to start learning how to play guitars because girls like that when you play guitar. So I don't know what it is. I don't know what we played either, but it's like good enough. So yeah. So Dennis, he had a prostatectomy, I guess. So he's recovering, and he texted us and saying he's doing fine. It should be okay. Everything should be fine. So my hope is for him as well. And my children, my hope is for my children. I spent the day with my daughter, helping her move into her apartment, and the highs and the lows of working with two hotheads, and how I know how to move, as I used to be a mover. I prepare for this place, and then of course she's got her way, and both of them are right. But after it was all said and done, she loved me up and said, that's who we are. So I'm glad. I want to get along with my children. I want them to think I'm cool.
Hi, I'm Hannah. I just want to say, I think this theme of this year has been like letting go of what we used to be, and I'm just really grateful for who we're becoming, and that we can journey with you guys in that. So this season has really been special to be making connections and community with you.
I'd like one last joy to speak, to thank the writers, because y'all are awesome. And Paul, I'm going to be reaching out to you next time. Thank you all for your work, your thoughts, your love. And now I'm going to place one last stone in this bowl for all the joys and sorrows that have been left unspoken but remain in our hearts as we sing, Walking with You. Each week we take up an offering to support our staff, the operation of our building, and the many ministries of our church. There are two simple ways to give, one by utilizing the offering plate, and two by giving online. Also accessed by scanning the QR code as well as the address up there. Thank you all who faithfully give through pledges, donations, time, and talent. We are forever grateful for your commitment and generosity to United. The morning offering will now be received. we conclude our service. Just a reminder of what Patty was saying, that the Dances of Universal Peace is meeting today here at United from 2 to 6. It's quite a big celebration, so keep that on your minds. A reminder also that our Christmas Eve service is going to be on Christmas Eve, and it will begin at 4:30. It's a multi-generational service. There is no service on December 28th. And see you all on January 4th, 2026. Please have a blessed and happy holidays and Happy New Year. Before we extinguish, our closing words are by Donna Lundeen. In these times, we are challenged to negotiate some very difficult situations: immigration, hunger, conquests, housing, gender identity, safety, water, education, excuse me, I caught Donna's frog, healthcare, as well as personal situations with family and friends. I've come to realize that hope is found in the balance between pendulum swings of utter despair and unrestrained optimism. As I evaluate each issue or situation, I need to consider the pros and cons, be willing to adapt, be open to other points of view, and persevere. Hope comes from understanding that we all work together as a community, and then we can find that balance. Amen, and may it be so. And now please join me in the words as we extinguish this candle. We extinguish this flame. Until we meet again. Remember, there's coffee and conversation and probably some snacks downstairs at the conclusion of the service. And now please enjoy Jayme's postlude.
Someone love me the way that I am, the curves of my body and both careless hands. Someone will choose me as more than a friend. I won't have to settle or straighten my head. It's completely my fault. I've been searching this long, 'cause I won't get involved unless it'll last long. I'm protected ground, but I'm bearing the cost, and each day it gets harder to see. Someone love me the way that I am, and speak to me softly, and stand where I stand. Someone will hold me with all that they can, and think that I'm funny, and then make me laugh. It's completely my fault. I've been single this long. I make up all my songs. If I'm honest for once, I've been nobody's crush, while my friends find the one. I don't know what I want, but I know someone will love me the way that I am. The music I make, the songs that I played. Someone had told me a couple years back that if I'm just patient, I'll find my person. I'm not falling behind by waiting for that.
Thank you.